Hey, hello there. Hello from Beijing. I'm Sun Ye with CGTN live streaming and my colleague.
Yeah, this is Wu Lei, and greetings from Beijing, and welcome to this special dialogue between Chinese taikonaut and African teenagers.
Right, as we promised, I think you've also seen it in the introduction. We're around an hour away from the big event tonight.
Less than 1 hour.
Oh, yeah, less than 1 hour away from the big event. That's the China-Africa space stream. That's the tech we're using. And tonight, well, you're seeing some of the big things that's going to happen tonight. We promised you we have a huge giving out ceremony for the Tianhe Awards, the My Dream Arts competition. We're going to have a sneak peek on those winning pictures. You see it right there. And tonight we're also going to have Shenzhou 16 crew and some other Chinese taikonaut to tell us some of the most frequently asked questions and the paintings too.
Yeah, they will introduce the paintings to us, I think, and because as you can see that many are looking forward to this awarding ceremony for a long time. This event was jointly held between China and Africa, and over young artists from 42 countries submitted over 2,000 paintings earlier this year, and at last 50 earning the top prizes. These are some of the first prize awarding pictures, as you can see.
So we start at the right place. These are the first prize winners?
Yeah, Tianhe Award. So there are 10 pictures, 10 paintings in total for the first prize. As you can see, this picture is called Shared Aspirations. It was painted by a Nigeria artist called Peter Prosper, also named this afternoon. I talked with Peter, actually. And you can see this picture shows a female African astronaut. And her dream must be, went into space one day.
So tonight, this is definitely going to be an arts night. But first of all, we see it's called Tianhe Award, and the other pictures we've seen probably have won Wen Tian Award and Meng Tian Award.
Prizes.
Those names are really special for China Space, right?
Exactly.
How is that?
And the first prize called Tianhe Awards. So the Tianhe is a core module of China's space station, China's Tiangong space station. So that's why the first prize is named Tianhe Awards.
That's the core module, Tianhe.
Exactly. That's where the taikonauts are living and working.
And these are the first prize winners for this year's China-Africa space stream events. Those pictures you said come from 42 countries.
Exactly.
And I think some of them made it up to China's space station, right?
Exactly. These top 10 entries were transported to China's space station in May. And as Sun Ye just mentioned, the Shenzhou 16 crew will showcase these paintings to the world.
So they're showcasing the real ones. We are seeing the replica.
Yeah, the copies. But you can feel the creativity and enthusiasm and aspirations of these African young artists.
So of course they are also drawing inspiration from China's space station, right? And
exactly.
This year's pretty special. China's space station is officially fully functioning, right?
And we know that some of the China space station was basically complete the construction in 2022.
Just a year ago.
After several missions, including the Tianhe core module and 2 experimental modules, as well as several manned missions and cargo spacecraft missions. And these are the prizes of the Wen Tian Awards.
And some of the really interesting things I also pick up from your talk this afternoon is that China's space station is something that can sustain itself. I mean, everything about the water, the electricity is generated on its own. Yeah,
exactly. We talked to some experts earlier, and they shared some information, especially from taikonaut Chen Dong. He lived in the China space station for over 6 months, and the water, the electricity, the power, everything is generated inside the China space station. So this is a special taikonaut mascot, especially for this event, right?
So this we can only get it here Or, oh, so this is precious.
Exactly. So tonight, besides the main event here in Beijing, we know there are some video conference, different countries in Africa.
Yeah. And we are going to talk to some of our colleagues elsewhere on the African continent. I think they have time differences, but they're probably sharing the same kind of aspirations that, well, the theme to all of the pictures we're seeing today are called My Dream. And I gather you've also talked to some of the artists. They talk to you about their dreams too, right?
Yeah, exactly. But as you just heard, that there is
starting soon
sound testing, voice testing for this grand awarding ceremony, because many African young artists are really looking forward to this ceremony, because these paintings were selected from over 2,000 paintings. It's not easy for them to receive these top prizes, right?
And only 10
were transported to the China Space Station.
And this is not the first time the paintings made it up to China Space Station.
It's not the first time, but it's the first time for international paintings to be displayed on China Space Station. So this is the first time China Space Station showcasing the African paintings. And you just mentioned that earlier, before our live streaming, I talked with taikonauts Chen Dong and also ambassador of Senegal to China, and also two winners of this event. They shared some very interesting aspirations and stories behind these paintings. And I really remember that the Sinovu Magula from South Africa, the painter from South Africa, she recalled the process of her painting. She said she was a student majored in traditional Chinese medicine, and she has great interest in Chinese cultures, and that's why she combined the different elements from South Africa and China together to form this painting, as we just saw there. So that's really interesting, because I know that every painting may have different stories behind this.
Right, and I think each painting is more than those elements that meets the eye. They have other, they are inspired by other things that I only realized after they explained them.
Yeah.
Now,
these paintings were for My Dream. This painting competition is called My Dream painting competition.
So it looks like some of the young people from Africa who are part of this competition, they want to go into space.
Exactly. I think their dreams may have the similarity with what we have in China, because Chinese students also have the similar dream to go to space.
It would be really difficult for me to go to space now, but what do you think for younger generation? You know, I consider being an astronaut to be a highly demanding kind of, not only a job, but kind of career. But for the young people who are probably healthier and, have a bigger capability to learn and everything, do you think they have a bigger chance to go into space?
I do think they have a bigger chance than us. But just now, as taikonauts Chen Dong mentioned, nowadays it's not that demanding for ordinary people to be an astronaut, because among the Shenzhou 16 crew, taikonaut Gui Haichao wears glasses, and he's the first Chinese taikonaut to enter the space with glasses, because generally we thought that people wearing glasses cannot go to space, but now you see he's wearing glasses and he's in the China's space station. So I think in the future, because there are a lot of jobs, there are a lot of work need to be done aboard the space station. We need pilots, we need engineers, we need doctors. So there are a lot of opportunities for scientists, for doctors, for pilots to work and live in the space station.
And and especially now that we also know for China's space station, they're sending astronauts or taikonauts at least twice every year. So you are also part of that process where astronauts go, well, Chinese astronauts and taikonauts go to space every year, right?
Exactly, especially as you mentioned, China's Tiangong station is fully functional starting from this year. So every year there will be 2 batches of taikonauts will go to space. So every 6 months we will witness these historical and exciting moments of taikonauts going to space.
Now, one of the Chinese taikonauts we are going to see tonight, who are also going to answer a lot of questions from people in Africa, is Chen Dong. And Chen Dong has been to space more than once.
Yeah, he went into space twice in the Shenzhou 11 mission and Shenzhou 14 mission. And I was there when he went to space for the first time in 2016.
But I mean, even though he's been there twice, it's really different, right? 2 different experiences?
Yeah, he said it's quite different because in the first time, in his first mission, he was staying only around 30 days in a Tiangong lab. It was not a fully constructed China space station, but in his second mission, he went into China's Tiangong space station for over 6 months. And he, to live in the space for 6 months is not easy. And it's a quite new experience.
And
a bigger room, a new environment.
And yeah, and I guess he also realized his dream somewhere when he's in China space station, right?
Exactly. And this afternoon when we talked with Taikonauts Chen Dong, he also saw these paintings and he was...
Did he say did any one of these paintings particularly,
I think most of these paintings must give him a very deep impression. He was moved by the enthusiasm and creativity of these African artists. It's maybe it's a little bit different from the traditional painting here in China, right? I think that some of the colors.
It comes in Chinese too.
Oh, this is a Chinese character.
Yeah.
This painting was painted by a painter from Mozambique.
Yeah.
This is his name, Ada, Regina, and Bonifacio. It's not an English name, right?
And well, just from this place, we're seeing entries from
the
all
Mengtian
over
Awards.
Africa.
Yeah.
And also, one of the things that's really interesting is that China is not only just sending astronauts to China's space station. We have bigger plans, right? And that plans, some of these Africans are paying attention.
You mentioned about are you going to talk about the lunar manned missions? Yeah. Manned lunar missions, as we can see.
Oh, they already have that planned out.
Yeah,
wow.
This is a painting from Comoro.
Oh.
And you see, this is the moon. Because around 2030, China aims to build an international lunar research station along with global partners.
Right.
And Chinese taikonauts are expected to land on the moon by 2030.
So that's
this painting,
6-7 years.
Yeah,
it's so soon.
7 years by now, and it shows that the lunar manned missions. So it's very. So this guy must follow the lunar mission very closely.
And I get that you also brought some of your models here. Some of them is the Long March. You brought a Long March carrier rocket here.
Yeah, I can't find it actually.
Because Long March carrier rocket, they not only played a very important role in China's space station build-up, but also probably in the future.
Exactly. We know the Long March 5 is the main carrier of the launch vehicle for the China's Tiangong space station construction, especially Long March 5, launched the Tianhe core module, the Mengtian and Wentian experimental modules. So in the future, I think the Long March 5 will play a bigger role in China's future missions. But for these lunar manned missions, a new generation carrier rocket is needed. So China is now developing the Long March 10, the new generation carrier rocket, especially
the most powerful one,
powerful
right?
one, especially for sending the taikonauts to the moon and back to Earth. It's quite different. We need more powerful carrier rocket.
So there's China's space station. That's a huge endeavor. The moon mission that's coming in a few years. And also, I don't know about this. You also talked about satellites, development of other space activities, other space technologies. We also have something else to look forward to for satellite. Maybe China and Africa are working on that front too.
Exactly. Besides China's space station, the lunar missions, I think China is also developing other deep space explorations. For example, China is now developing an asteroid defense system.
Right.
Yeah, it's because we are living in the Earth. The Earth is also in danger of potential
I've
asteroids.
heard it described as the most serious existential crisis for human if an asteroid comes to us.
Yeah. So that's why China is now developing a special asteroid project aiming to launch a satellite to potentially land on the asteroid or bring some sample from the asteroid back to Earth and to study where this asteroid was coming from, whether it will, hit Earth one day in the future. We may need to change the course of the asteroid, so that's why we need to study the asteroid first. And that's why we need more deep space explorations, and it's for certain that China will work closely with other countries together and to conduct these kind of future space missions.
One of the countries in Africa that's working pretty hard with China is Egypt, right? I heard there's a satellite that two are developing together, and we have some good news coming along, isn't it?
Exactly, and we know that there is a special satellite called MESR-2 satellite.
MESR-2.
MESR-2 satellite. Okay. It's a China-Egypt cooperated satellite. I talked with the chief designer of the MESR-2 satellite, Mr. Cui Yufu, and he said that that satellite has been, tested and integrated in Egypt, and now it's checked and now in Beijing. It is expected to be launched by the end of this year, probably in December. That satellite is so special and means a lot for Egypt because...
so it's built and assembled in Egypt but launched here from China?
Exactly.
Wow.
It was built, integrated and tested in Egypt because with the help of China Aid, Egypt has its first AIT center. That's the first one in the whole Africa. So Mr. Cui mentioned that that AIT center means a lot for Egypt and for the whole African continent. Because with the help of this center, these African space agencies have the capabilities to produce, to test their own satellites. It will help them to develop their own satellite capabilities and also the design and test capabilities. So it will mean a lot for African countries. So that's why this satellite means a lot.
One of the examples we're probably going to see in the future too.
Exactly.
Now, we had a short walk and had a short glimpse of all the pictures, well, some of the pictures that have entered this competition, and some of them has made it to China Space Station. We'll find out who those winners and the pictures are later in our event. And we also know for this hugely celebratory event, China Africa Space Stream, we are also expecting kind of other celebrations going on in other venues. We will go to them shortly, but Wule, let's take 1 minute or two to
wrap up.
To give people something to expect for. We know a special program is coming.
Yeah, exactly. And as I mentioned earlier, I talked with Taikonaut Chen Dong, the ambassador of Senegal to China. and also 2 top winners, one from South Africa and the other from Nigeria. And also Mr. Cui Yufu, the chief designer of Mr. 2 satellite. We had a special discussion about the collaboration of China and Africa in the space sector. So I will show this special program later on CGTN and my social media platform, so stay tuned.
So when is it going to air again?
I think by the end of this week.
So we have many things to look forward to for tonight. We have a huge event that's going to, well, part of it will be held from here, from the Beijing venue. And we also have celebrations going on across the African continent. Tonight we will be seeing Chinese taikonauts in their homing space and taikonaut on the ground. They're going to share some of their most cherished memories and experiences with young people from Africa and China, and they're going to answer some of the biggest questions from young people from here in Beijing and elsewhere in Africa. Also, we're going to again see a lot of the artworks, the meanings of them, and we may also learn some other space developments in the future. Now, that's for tonight, just from here, the Beijing venue. But we also have Wu Lei's program coming out in a few days, so a lot of things to watch. With that, we will leave you with some of the pictures that you should be really getting familiar with until you go to the other places in Africa where our colleagues will bring you the other celebrations going on there. And see you
one more
next time.
sentence.
Oh,
Big congratulations to all the winners of this painting competition. Congratulations.
Congratulations to everyone who entered. Okay. Thank you so much for joining us.
Hello everyone, I'm Adel Al-Mahroui talking to you from the Egyptian capital, Cairo, specifically from the Chinese Cultural Center in Cairo. I'm speaking from Cairo, but there's a huge team in Beijing live streaming this event and preparing it for you, so thanks to all my colleagues in Beijing. Why are we here? We're here basically a part of an international event that is happening in at least 8 African countries at the same time, where Chinese embassies are connecting African youth to speak to Chinese astronauts, the team of Shenzhou 16 up in space. And this communication will be taking place while every country is celebrating it on its own way. Let me show you around and to give you a glimpse about what exactly is happening here. The Chinese Cultural Center is a place where a lot of activities take place to teach Mandarin to people and have a lot of cultural connectivity to it. Today's event is called My Dream in Space. And basically, it is a collaboration beside talking to the astronauts of Shenzhou 16. It is going to display artwork of many people who have been participating. 100 Egyptian teenagers have participated in this event, each trying to display his own art that shows inspiration between Egyptian and Chinese collaboration to merge these 2 ancient cultures, 2 of the world's oldest civilizations, joining hands to cooperate in space. So as you see, there are many of them. About 100 students have participated, and today they have selected, out of more than 100 paintings, they have selected 30 to be displayed here. And from these 30, Chinese astronauts to have them in the Chinese space station out in space. All of the pictures have a merger of themes between Egypt and China, and to reflect in a way what young Egyptians aspire about a life in space and collaboration between Egypt and China in that regard. People here are waiting to enter to the conference hall where the talking to the astronauts will be taking place. Some of these young Egyptians will try and ask questions to the astronauts. I'm joined here by one of the young Egyptians who have participated in the competition. What's your name, اسمك ايه؟ كنزي. كنزي انت الرسمه بتاعتك موجوده هنا؟ Show me. Kinsey has her painting displayed here. She's going to show it to us. This one, شاوري عليها. Okay. طيب ممكن تحكي لنا الرسمه دي عباره عن ايه؟ يعني ايه اللي انت فكرتي فيه؟ Okay. So she's saying the idea of her painting was basically an imagination of an Egyptian and a Chinese child together joining hands, holding, as you see, two hands for an astronaut who's raising on his suit the flags of Egypt and China. So these children are helping the astronaut through his mission somehow, through science, through culture, and through connectivity as well. إيه تاني موجود في الصورة? What else did you put in your picture? Okay. I'm joined by her father as well. She was just telling me that she also added a part of planet Mars in the image and sort of the future aspirations about future missions that maybe one day Egypt can join China in. You know, there is actual collaboration taking place between Egypt and China in space programs. China is helping Egypt with its technology to build telescopes, to build satellites, and there's a strong collaboration in the Egyptian Space Agency, which next to it, right here in Cairo also, will be the headquarters for the African Space Agency. And China is quite a strong partner in many projects happening in that regard. Let's talk to Kinsey's father. ازي حضرتك يا فندم؟ احكي لي عن شعوركم ان انتوا جايين تتكلموا مع رواد الفضاء الصينيين النهارده. How do you feel for taking place in an event that will be through which you will be talking to the astronauts in space?
طبعا دي فرصه سعيده جدا ان احنا نبقى موجودين في المركز الثقافي الصيني، وطبعا الشعب الصيني والشعب المصري من اعرق الحضارات على كوكب الارض، بيمتد من الاف السنين، وما زالت الاثار بتاعتهم واضحه، سواء سور الصين العظيم او الاهرامات او حتى حضاره حتى الجديده.
He's basically saying that because of the ancient connectivity of the world's oldest civilizations, Egypt and China, their people, the people of these two countries, always feel connected. They are the founders of early civilizations and what inspired the world for thousands of years to come. How do you feel that you're going to talk to the astronauts?
طبعا شعور طبعا بالسعاده، وده طبعا من اللحظات الجميله جدا ان احنا بنبقى متواجدين هنا. وطبعا غزو الفضاء زي ما كان بيتقال زمان او رحلات الفضاء دي طبعا بتزود العلم وبتزود الحضاره، وبيبقى فيه تجارب ممكن تتعمل بتفيد البشريه. فطبعا شعور يعني ممتاز، حاسس الواحد ان هو طاير يعني. وبنتي كنزي طبعا يعني هي في مدرسه صينيه في المنوفيه، مدرسه مصر الحره.
خليني اترجم. So he is saying that they're very excited. He feels like he's flying to be going and talking to people who will be participating in human explorations and expeditions in space. So talking to them directly and seeing people who are shaping the future not only of their countries but also this planet is something that is very exciting. He was also talking about his daughter Kenzie, who made the painting, and that she is studying in a Chinese school in one of Egypt's governorship in Monofia, which is part of the Delta. It's in north of Egypt. And قول لي بقى طيب اخيرا لو كنزي انت لو عندك فرصه تساليهم اسئله هتقول لهم ايه؟ ايه السؤال اللي ممكن تساليه؟ What kind of question could you ask the astronauts if you get the chance?
رواد الفضاء.
تساليهم ايه؟
ونبقى سعداء.
Okay. She wants to ask them about their work in space and what are they doing to help humanity understand space and maybe possibly moving to live on Mars and achieve something like a human extraordinary ambition. Thank you very much. أشكركم جدا. Thank you. On the next side, let me show you some of the other paintings that are still also displayed. Some of these are quite extraordinary in terms of quality of painting. And after that, I told you 10 of them will be selected, the winners of which will be announced today. 10 students whose paintings will be part of the Shenzhou 16 space team to have displayed in the Chinese space station in space. This is the conference hall where people are now waiting for the event to take in the coming minutes. These multi-screens are taking place from several African countries. Many of students from 8 to 10 countries will be having a chance to pose questions for the Chinese astronauts. This is actually the second event of such connectivity with Chinese space mission that takes place. Another one was almost a year ago, where also Egyptian students have been getting the chance to ask questions to astronauts about their lives, their missions, their work, and how did they manage to get on space? What kind of education do they get? What kind of training has happened? So this is basically an opportunity for people to hear, Egyptian students specifically and teenagers, to get inspired about space sciences, about space exploration, and also understand through the Chinese teams who have made major advancements in space, to understand their work, their life in space, their aspirations as well, and how their work could help people here on Earth. Well, in a few minutes, we will be connecting to the Chinese astronauts, the team for Shenzhou 16, and many people here, as you've seen, are excited to be taking part in this event. Again, thank you all for watching. I'm Adel Al-Mahroui talking to you from the Chinese Cultural Center in Egypt. Thanks again to all, to my colleagues in Beijing for holding this live stream and making it happening to you. Meanwhile, if you feel like asking any questions, please post your questions there and continue following our coverage to this quite inspiring event that is taking place all across Africa, where several countries and several African teenagers will get a chance to ask questions to Chinese astronauts living and staying in the Chinese space station for a lot of time. It's an opportunity for African young people to get inspired, to ask questions and become curious and have, more importantly, ambition about this extraordinary advanced technological field of work that has been growing significantly in recent years. Thank you everyone for following us. Thank you for my colleagues in Beijing, and we'll be connecting with you again soon. Take care.
Tens of thousands of satellites and spacecraft are now orbiting some 400 kilometers above Earth's surface. Among them is a large manned spacecraft that might catch your eye. It's the Tiangong, China's space station. The Tiangong orbits the Earth at a speed about 7 point.
With their art that is all inspired under one theme, which is dreams in space. And these dreams in space would reflect the connection between China and Africa in having space explorations and space cooperation in general. Like this painting, for example, showing China's hand joining Africa, where many countries are being represented here, to have such collaboration. Every child is given a chance to portray with their imagination and their thought how they think the connection would be. This one, for example, is focusing on joining the Egyptian ancient gods in more of a modern symbols of modern science, merging the ancient cultures of these two countries, Egypt and China, and how these ancient civilizations have set the foundation for sciences, and advanced technologies that we're all enjoying its blessings today. And these paintings, about 100, as I said, have participated. Some of them have been selected to be displayed here, about 30 exactly. And out of these 30, 10 will be making it through space along with the Shinzo 16 space astronauts who have been are now preparing to take questions from African teens who will be now gathering in about 8 countries across the continent. And every one of them is preparing questions to ask for the astronauts about their life in space, their mission, their job, and how did they get there. As many young Africans aspire and wonder about space and how they too maybe can put the flag of their country on a spacesuit and fly there to make their country proud. In general, this is an opportunity for the young to start talking from Africa, of course, to the Chinese astronauts. And it has more or less become the second time where such an event happened. And hopefully this could be something held routinely to keep inspiring young Egyptians, young Africans, and even young teenagers from across the world to build a foundation for collaboration between all developing countries and boost South-to-South cooperation in another meaningful way in the most advanced available technologies in space sciences and space technologies. In a few minutes, the Shinzo 16 team will be coming live on camera to talk to the young African teenagers who will be asking them questions about their life in space. Now, in general,
We are coming to you from the Kenyan capital, Nairobi here, where we're expecting quite a number of dignitaries to attend this function here, the My Dream event that is happening here in Nairobi. We're expecting quite a number of students from Nairobi to attend this function, including dignitaries. Now, this is a very important event when it comes to the question of space. And we know that over 2,000 African young people did submit in their drawings for this competition that climaxed here today in Nairobi, and many other African countries that will be going live with us today. And these students, many of them, especially those that did submit in their drawings, had a dream. And as we know, many African young people have been dreaming of going to space. They want to explore more about what the universe has got to offer. And that opportunity came through China, and that is a relationship that is existing between China and Africa that has enabled many of the African young people to share their dreams, and that is what is happening here in Nairobi today. We are going to be seeing those that excelled in this competition. Of course, many of them did submit. There are those that won and others did not win. But to them, all of them are winners. The fact that they were able to participate in this competition. Now, the My Dream competition gives the African young people who are dreaming to explore space that opportunity. And of course, with Chinese astronauts being in space now, it gives them that opportunity. So what really happened here is that the young people that we are seeing here today did submitting their drawings. They did dream through their drawings, which was submitted to space, and that is something that they will be watching this afternoon as we start officially that function. And of course, this is one of the China-Africa cooperation, people-to-people exchange, which has given African students, young people, that dream. Like many of us, as we grew up, we dreamt about going to space. We watched the things on film, on cinema, but this is now the real opportunity that the government of the People's Republic of China has given to the African continent to strengthen that relationship that does exist between Africa and China. And the students are getting that opportunity. And of course, also this afternoon here in Nairobi, the students will be able to ask questions with one of the astronauts that returned recently, and he will be in Beijing, of course, and the ones here will be able to ask him their questions. They want to know exactly what really transpires in space since he was there. And many of them are very much excited to have this opportunity. They want to know exactly how is it? How would you float in space? You know, these are scientific things that our African brothers and sisters here would like to explore and know as well how things happen. And of course, the organizers are going on. We are receiving visitors right now. Many of those that have been invited are now coming in, and the organizers have already done a great job. The hall is ready, and many of the countries that are participating as well are getting ready to kickstart this function. That is very, very special to the African continent and the students, of course, that are participating in this My Dream Africa.
Tens of thousands of satellites and spacecraft are now orbiting some 400 kilometers above Earth's surface. Among them is a large manned spacecraft that might catch your eye. It's the Tiangong, China's space station. The Tiangong orbits the Earth at a speed about 7.8 kilometers per second. It takes about 90 minutes to complete one full orbit. taikonauts can even see 16 sunrises a day from the station. This brand new China National Space Laboratory mainly consists of the Tianhe core module, Wentian and Mengtian lab modules, which together form the iconic T-shaped structure. Together with the Shenzhou manned spacecraft and Tianzhou cargo ship, the whole space station weighs almost 100 tons. So how was this state-of-the-art space station put together? Let's check it out.
Yes, so basically what we're saying is that quite a number of African young people did submit in their drawings, the My Dream drawing competition that took place. And of course, over 40 African countries did participate in this My Dream competition, you know, to tell their stories, to translate this dream into reality through drawings. And of course, if I may just quote you something that one of the winners from Ethiopia, a very young girl, she said, she explained her drawing and did say that her drawing, she aspires to seize the opportunity even though it's far away from her. She realized her dreams by making use of her untapped knowledge. Now, many African young people have got dreams, talents, and skills, but sometimes many of these skills are not put into use just simply because they lack the opportunity, they lack the resources to dream big. But now with the opportunity that the government of China has provided to the African continent, many African young people are taking this opportunity. They are taking their dreams further into space. And it is very interesting that they put these drawings, I mean their dreams into drawing, which will be showcased in space. Now that's such an incredible experience and opportunity that many African young people have gotten through this opportunity that has been provided by the government of China. And this afternoon we'll be watching more. But the most interesting bit about this entire competition is that the students or the young people from across the 40 African countries, especially those that will be joining us live online, will be able to see exactly what happens, and their questions will be answered by one of the astronauts that is in Beijing currently that returned. He will be there to answer some of their questions, and this is an interesting bit for them. They want to hear from the horse's mouth, how is it like in space? You know, how does time travel in space? How does space look like? And this is a dream that is coming true for many African young people through the opportunity that has been provided by the government of China. And this is a strength that comes when countries work together, especially China that has gone big with the African continent. Many African people are beginning to appreciate what the government of China is doing. They're giving them the opportunity that they never had before. And this opportunity is making many African young people gain the skills that in turn they use in turn, you know, to grow themselves, I mean, to excel in life as they put these skills that they are getting from the government of China into use. So it is a great opportunity indeed. Here in Nairobi, the students are excited. They are waiting to watch these videos. They're waiting to ask their questions. And of course, officials will be giving us speeches as well. We expect the Deputy Ambassador of China to Kenya to be here. We also expect some officials from the Kenyan Minister of Foreign Affairs to come and witness this great opportunity that has been offered to the young people by the government of China here in Nairobi. And of course, we have other colleagues in other countries that will also be participating or who are already participating, if I may say, getting ready to ask their questions as well and to join in rejoicing this experience that Africa has been given through the government of China. Talking about a skill relationship that does exist between the government of China and the African continent is giving many young people that dream. Many have begun to dream because there is an opportunity after dreaming that you can gain that skill and put it to use. And that is the growth that the African continent has for so many years been looking for, that has now been provided by the government of China, that is so willing to support many of our young people, those that have jobs and those that do not have jobs, and those that need to acquire these skills are beginning to get these skills given to them. So yes, this is what we are witnessing. We're witnessing a change in how people-to-people exchange does work and in how countries do cooperate diplomatically, socially, and economically. And these are areas where China has excelled in many of the African countries. And of course, the results is very much positive, where we are given to Africa. And when many people see this progress, that is the kind of growth that many African students would like to acquire. And they see themselves in this way as progress is being made here in Nairobi and in many other African countries. So yes, this is what we'll be doing this afternoon. Okay. That we walk around and show. Inside. They have this is what is happening. As you can see, these are some of the paintings of the astronauts, especially those that are in space. This is when they were just about to leave. These are the taikonauts of Shenzhou 16, were in spaceship simulator. So these are some of the drawings that have been placed here in Nairobi for the young people to see. Now, these are the experiences that many of our young people in Africa have very much wanted to see. And as you can see down here as well, if you could just show this, these are some of the paintings of the African young people, you know, very incredible in this. And this is what they'll be witnessing this afternoon here in Nairobi. So let's just move inside and we'll show you what's happening. Let's take a look at the preparations that is ongoing in the auditorium where the function will be taking. To start the function, and so as you can see, we've already started. The students are already watching what's happening, and after watching the films here, they will be able to ask their questions. So you could just come in. Here we are. Yeah, so that is one of the films that you're watching right now. Very tentative, very attentive indeed to understand what exactly is happening here in Nairobi. So this is exactly what we've been talking about, that the students are taking the opportunity to watch what is happening live here in Nairobi together with others who are in other African countries. So this is the experience. They have it firsthand to watch, and later on they will be able to ask questions about what transpired in space and how it all happened. So many of them are very excited, attentive indeed. They want to get it right and ask their questions later as we wait for more officials. So the function has already begun, and the students are watching silently, very attentive in this. So yes, these are the experiences and this that we've been discussing, that the students want to gain these skills. They want to see their dreams come true. And what they're watching right now is that opportunity that has been provided to them through the friendship that exists between the government of the People's Republic of China and the African continent. Very incredible in this. And throughout this afternoon, students will be learning more. So that is it from now. We will be continuing with the program as we go on. Thank you.
Distinguished guests, as well as China and African friends from all walks of life, good evening. Welcome to watch this dialogue between Chinese taikonauts and African youth and awarding ceremony of My Dream painting competition. I'm Yang Zhou from CGTN.
Radio.
Okay, it's very nice to team up with Bridget.
Great.
Okay.
Well, in March this year, an impressive activity linked African youth with China space. Well, the Secretariat of China Follow-up Committee of the Forum on China-Africa Cooperation and China Manned Space Engineering Office jointly organized the African Teenager My Dream painting competition. And in May of this year, 10 outstanding works that won the Tianhe Prize entered the Tiangong Space Station. We are very honored to invite the leaders of the organizing committee and African envoys to China to attend the awarding ceremony tonight. First of all, let's warmly welcome Ambassador Wu Peng, Secretary General of the China Follow-up Committee of the Forum on China-Africa Cooperation and Director of the African Department of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, to deliver a speech. Distinguished African ambassadors to China, my dear colleagues, dear youth friends, ladies and gentlemen, good evening. First of all, please allow me to brief you on something. Actually, in Morocco, we have a branch session. However, the earthquake that took place has taken a heavy toll on Morocco. So, unfortunately, we cannot make it in Morocco. So, please allow me to be on behalf of the African Department of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and in my own name, I'd like to express my deep condolences to the victim of the earthquake in Morocco on September 9th. More than 2,000 African youth painted colorful African dreams with their brushes. On behalf of the Secretariat of the China Follow-up Committee of the Forum on China-Africa Cooperation, I sincerely would like to express my gratitude to the support from China Manned Space Engineering Office for its valuable support. And we are very honored to invite the taikonaut. He has been on 2 missions to the space station. We would like to show our high respect to him. And we sincerely welcome all dear friends who care Sino-African cooperation to attend the event tonight. Warm congratulations to those African youth who have stood out. At this time, 10 outstanding paintings with the beautiful dreams of African teenagers are invited to orbit China Space Station with more than 4,000 kilometers above the ground. This is the first time that China Space Station held an international art exhibition. The African Dream has flown to the vast universe for the first time. Well, African youth met with China space, that will inevitably become a good story between China and Africa friendship. That is the embodiment of friendship between China and Africa in new era. And it is another example that China has been sincerely sharing achievements and opportunities with Africa. China and Africa share the same history and we have the common historical mission. We are closely linked with each other. People from China and Africa share a common dream. We are eager for the country's development and prosperity. We tirelessly pursue peace, development, cooperation, and common prosperity. China and Africa have always been companions in the pursuit of dreams. In today's world, we are facing unprecedented changes. The great rise of developing countries is unstoppable. China is comprehensively promoting great rejuvenation of the Chinese nation with Chinese modernization, while Africa is also moving towards the vision described in Agenda 2063 by African Union. China is willing to continue to work hand in hand with African countries on the path of modernization, strengthen the matching of development strategies under the mechanisms of jointly building BRI and the Forum on China-Africa Cooperation, provide greater opportunities for Africa's sustainable development. I noticed that there are so many young faces. Teenagers are the future and hope of our countries, and they are also the strong force for Sino-Africa cooperation. Your yearning for a better life and the pursuit of development Sino-Africa relations are the source of continuous inherent development of China-Africa traditional friendship. China is willing to take the implementation of China-Africa Talent Training Cooperation Plan as a main theme, which is put forward by President Xi Jinping at China-Africa Leaders Dialogue not long ago, and support Africa to train talents in various fields oriented to modernization of governance capacity, economic and social development, scientific and technological innovation, efficiency improvement, and create more favorable conditions and provide a broader space for African teenagers to pursue their dreams. Today, we are very honored to invite Captain Chen Dong, the hero taikonaut of China, to interact with teenagers from China and Africa. I hope that, like outstanding China taikonaut, you will be diligent in refining your skills, be courageous in exploration, pioneering and innovating, inheriting the spirit of China-Africa friendship, contribute to building a China-Africa community with a shared future in the new era. Finally, I wish this activity and awarding ceremony complete success. Thank you. Thank you, Director General Wu Peng, for your warm speech. You can see that this painting competition has been presented here, and I have paid a close look at that. They are very creative. And I would like to talk with those teenagers. Now, let's give floor to the winner of the My Dream painting competition, Daniel from Nigeria, to give her speech.
Good day, everyone. It's a great honor to be here. I really don't know how much faces are here, so I really just like to welcome all of you here. I'm deeply humbled by the presence of everybody here, and it's really an honor to be here. I would like to owe my journey to this stage also to the countless individuals who have been instrumental to my life, my family, my friends, my relatives, also those who have supported this very event and make it possible. As artists and as delegates from all around Africa, it's difficult to have an opportunity like this. So we are really, really grateful and delighted. Now, I would also like to say a big thank you to all of those who have worked behind the scenes to make this event possible. This whole place looks very beautiful because of the hard work of these people. Also, I will not be here without my fellow participants. Your contributions have illuminated the significance of our shared aspiration. Each stroke of our brushes, every single color choice has embodied the spirit of collaboration and innovation that defines the partnership we envision. Lastly, I also want to express my heartfelt appreciation to the sponsors who made my journey from Nigeria to China possible. Your generosity has allowed me to witness this momentous occasion. As I stand here today, I am reminded that dreams have no boundaries. Our collective visions for partnership between China and Africa space transcend borders. I also hope that we keep nurturing these same goals, aspirations, and hope of building both China, Nigeria, and African dreams together. So overall, I would like to say thank you in the language of our host. So Shei China, thank you so much for all you've done for Africa, and also thank you for helping us have this wonderful opportunity.
Thank you, Dania, and congratulations. 感谢 Dania， 也祝你未
Okay, thank you, and I wish you well in your pursuit of future dreams. And now, we welcome the Ambassador Siwa from Senegal. Your Excellency Wu Peng, Director of MOFA's African Affairs Department, and foreign envoys from Africa to China, and distinguished representatives of African Union to China, ladies and gentlemen, colleagues, young friends. First of all, as the co-chair of the Forum on China-Africa Cooperation, on behalf of the government of Senegal and on my own behalf, I would like to express my solidarity and that of the entire African family with the government and people of Morocco and Libya at this dramatic time. It is our wish and hope that Morocco and Libya will recover from this difficult ordeal. It is because of this disaster that we had to cancel the activity in Morocco, but these two countries are filled with resilience. I believe that they will bound to emerge from this difficulty. I'd also like to take this opportunity to express my warmest congratulations to the General Secretariat of the Chinese FOCAC Follow-up Committee, as well as China Manned Space Engineering Office. I congratulate them for organizing this event. This is very important in the context of the sincere friendship and pragmatic cooperation between China and Africa. Now, given this context, we host this activity, and this shows the importance of it. This activity is also an important part of the Dakar Action Plan, which demonstrates China-Africa's cooperation in the space sector. Under this framework, the two parties have agreed to promote the talent training as well as cooperation in space, science, and technology. Young people are the important pillar in this effort. Now we host this themed activity of shared space China-African dreams. as well as the My Dreams painting competition. Of course, this will attract the attention of African youth to space and to China-Africa cooperation. It also allows African countries, especially the developing African countries, who are still in need of developing this capability in space, to participate in these cooperation projects. Africa have already established some regional aviation training center. They are very important. And under the framework of China-Africa Space Cooperation, we also set up cooperation in terms of satellite remote sensing, especially in 2023, in July the 6th, in Beijing, we already launched China-Africa Space Sensing Application Center. This will be very implemental in helping us to share technologies in a variety range of fields. In this painting contest, dozens of African countries participated in this program. I believe in the future we will have more countries being a member of this competition. I understand some African countries are gaining the capability of launching the satellite. Therefore, the future holds great promise. In addition, China-Africa cooperation in satellite, much like what Mr. Wu Peng had already mentioned, China and Africa has a lot more to cooperate, including on medicine, health, technology, innovation, etc. In these fields, they require a lot of human investment and capability building. So I think the training and cooperation between China and Africa in these realms are very important. In the 60s and 70s, China started its exploration into space and its talent training. So these efforts requires a lot of support and resources. We believe that if we could pull our efforts together and work together, this is also possible for Africa. And I'd also like to say that in our extensive cooperation, the BRI projects, as well as the action plan, will be about technology training, agriculture, as well as many other fields. Especially, we're going to support the training for high school and college students. So I think everybody already knows that we have a lot of areas for cooperation, and they're very extensive. So in FOCAC, in the Dakar Action Plan, we already see the embodiment of them. We already set up many cooperation projects. I think this is very worth mentioning in July. In the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, in the Department of African Affairs, under their support and under the support of the Secretariat of the Chinese FOCAC Follow-up Committee, we have conducted a very important ceremony. That is, China is sharing a lot of data to African countries so that we could avoid natural disasters and we could forecast those disasters. We know we have about 70% of people are young people, and they need study, they need to learn technology. They have visited Chengdu in Sichuan province and many other big cities to receive training. And China's transfer of technology to Africa not only trains those young people, they will also inject vitality into Africa's development in remote sensing satellite, in weather, in agriculture. But for us, I think for Africa, the most important thing is about how could we forecast natural disasters and how do we save our people from the scourge of natural disasters. I think in this respect, we have many more possible potential for cooperation. General Secretary Xi Jinping expressed his vow, a pledge, and the promise is being fulfilled. We thank him for that. And we also need to understand what can we do intercontinentally. We know bilateral relations are very important, but if we cannot pool the resources of every country, we are still standing on flimsy ground. So this is why we need to pull the resources together to work in concerted efforts, combine the strength of all African countries. So in this occasion, I would like to express our joy because the G20 recently accepted African Union as its official member. So I say Africa countries are very advantaged. But in today's world, they are still standing on the margins. They are excluded from many major decisions, be it fiscal problems, sustainable development, financial problems, or new energy fields. You don't see those problems being decided by African people. This is very regretful because the major decisions do not reflect the voice of African people. We thank China. We thank General Secretary Xi Jinping's support to Africans' accession to the G20. And this is only a small step for Africa. We hope that in the World Bank, in IMF, and in the United Nations, we could send stronger African voice and play a bigger role in South-South cooperation. In this way, can we set up a collective strategy? And at this point, I also applaud to all the young artists who had received the awards. Their paintings are now flying in the space. This is very important. It showcases that through science and technology, we will be able to strengthen the friendship between the Chinese and the African people. We need to deeply explore the role of the youth and scientists. I believe we will be able to receive a considerable amount of reward. I thank again to my colleagues tonight. And we commend the Secretariat of the Chinese FOCAC Follow-up Committee and the work of Mr. Wu Peng. Thank you for listening.
Thank you, Ambassador. 感谢大使阁下。那么也相信，在中非的共同努力下，中非合作论坛的成果将会越来越丰富。
Okay, I wish there could be more fruits between China-Africa cooperation. Now we sent out the awards. Now we welcome the representatives from Mali and Zimbabwe. And now we welcome Mr. Wu Peng and Mr. Wei Feng to present the awards.
好，有请我们的主办方为我们的获奖代表颁发纪念品。我们的纪念品也是精挑细选的这个。
Please present the souvenirs to the winner. This is the Tianhe Kao module and the China launch vehicle model. Congratulations to all the winners. Very beautiful model. In this May, China taikonaut Jing Haipeng announced a special task at the press conference on the eve of the launch of Shenzhou 16 spaceship, and Director Wu has said that we are going to hold an international painting exhibition for the first time in Tiangong Space Station, and the works are the winning works of the African Youth My Dream painting competition. Let's have a look at the screen.
大家好，我是中国航天员景海鹏，我是中国航天员朱阳柱，我是中国航天员桂海潮。我谨代表神舟16号航天员乘组，向非洲兄弟姐妹们，向关心、关注 中国航天事业的朋友们问好，很高兴今天能在中国空间站放飞非洲梦想。下面让我们一同走进中国空间站，欣赏非洲青少年的代表作品吧。好。
我们首先看到的两幅作品是来自尼日利亚和埃及的作品，一幅叫《共同的期待》，另一幅叫
The other is called China is Africa's Hope Towards Space. Your works are showing African teenagers' enthusiasm for manned space programs. They also make me full of confidence in future China-Africa space cooperation. Exploring the unknown universe and developing space technology are the common endeavors of mankind. It is necessary to have the full cooperation of all countries in the world, including Africa. It is our sincere hope that Chinese and foreign astronauts will work together to make a greater contribution to the exploration of the universe. The next two pieces are full of imagination. This one is entitled, Let Me Tell You a Riddle and Get You into the Space. Inspired by Hajatik Majitik, a traditional Algerian puzzle, is the girl in the painting you? She's immersed in the imagery of vast starry sky, and I feel the power of thought in the painting. I often look out of the porthole of the space station, and I see that universe is as deep as your painting, with so many unknowns waiting to be explored. Is space also playing a guessing game with us? The worker from Democratic Republic of Congo has a very powerful aura. The African brother in the picture is wearing VR glasses and holding brushes, transforming the Earth from the perspective of the universe. This reminds me of Chairman Mao famous line, like 3 million white jade dragons you have chilled the sky through. The people of China and Africa share the same kind of boldness and a courage to realize their wildest dream of transforming the world. The following two paintings show the personal dreams of our African friends. We begin with our friend Mafeko from Zimbabwe. Here is her painting. Hello, Mafeko. Your painting, as we can see, is colorful and brimming with vigor and vitality. You wrote in the introduction that your dream is to become one of the best architects in Africa. All people, rich and poor, can live and work in the buildings you design. Thumbs up to you. I can feel African youthful spirit and affection for the people through your paintings. May your dreams come true. The following piece of work is from our friend Natoa from Madagascar. Hello, Natoa. I'm sure you love exploring and traveling, right? In fact, like you, I also love traveling very much. Let's see something from me. See? This is a picture of me when I visited the Chengdu research base of giant panda breeding in China. At that time, I had a close-up photo with giant panda. Isn't it very cute? You and your African friends are welcome to travel in China when you have a chance. Through traveling, we can talk with the sun, the moon, the stars, rivers, lakes, and the seas. And we get to know ourselves, embrace heaven and earth, and feel all the beings here. I would like to extend an invitation to all African friends. Welcome to China. The following piece from South Africa, entitled Harmony, is cleverly conceived. Here are the 5 elements of China: gold, wood, water, fire, and earth. On the other side are the South Africa's double-sailed perch, Table Mountain, Blue Crane, Springcock, and the King Pro Tea. These cultural symbols eventually intermingled in the universe. From this, I can see that the radiant civilizations of China and Africa are transcending time, space, as well as national boundaries. We advocate equal dialogue, mutual respect, I believe it is the right path to a better future. This piece from Mauritius, Education for All, is very clear in intention as it is in its colors. This phrase makes me feel very close to my heart. As the old Chinese saying goes, it takes 10 years to grow trees, 100 years to nurture people. Education is the fundamental way for human beings to cultivate young generation and create a better life. See, on education, the philosophies of China and Africa are highly consistent. The following two pieces of work make me sincerely feel that Chinese and African people share the common pursuit and common beliefs in peace, harmony, solidarity, and unity. This work from Mali has a very profound meaning. The hands in the painting use needle and thread to sew together the colorful cloth in the background, implying that peace and unity can dissolve differences and fissures and jointly build a peaceful and beautiful world. Mahmoud from Somalia. Did you see the dove of peace flying into the peace? I'm really touched, because this is most innocent wish of a 6-year-old child. Peace, like air and sunshine, is hardly noticed when people are benefiting from, but none of us can live without. As the father of a 6-year-old child, I sincerely hope that children all over the world will have a peaceful, happy, and carefree childhood. The profound changes as seen in a century in the world today are accelerating, and mankind is once again standing at the crossroads of history. Where is the world headed? Peace or war? We call on the whole world to listen to the voices of African youth. Who do you think is the best? Thank you, three taikonauts. They serve as the guide for our exhibition, not only being preoccupied with their work, so the space station is the frontier for our art. Congratulations to all the winners. Your works have been presented in the space station. In our activity, African teenagers have shown great enthusiasm for the space exploration. Besides their contributions, they have also put forward many questions. In order to answer their questions, we are very honored to invite Chen Dong, the taikonaut from China, to be here to interact with teenagers from China and Africa to share his experience of traveling in the space. Let's warmly welcome Chen Dong, China's taikonaut. Thank you. Welcome, Chen Dong. The first question from here. Anyone who would like to ask the question? Respected astronaut Chen, I'm from Foreign CFU, and here is the question. President Xi Jinping said that the outer space is the commonwealth of mankind, and the exploration, development, and peaceful use of outer space is the common pursuit of mankind. As a witness to the development of manned space in China in the new era for you, what does manned space mean for building a community of shared future for mankind? Thank you for your question. Now, the floor is yours. First of all, it is a glorious mission to represent China to be sent skyward into the vast universe. I feel extremely proud. China has always firmly believed that outer space, the commonwealth of people all over the world, and exploring the universe is the common cause of all mankind. China's manned space flight has always been based on the principle of peaceful use, equality, mutual benefit, and common development, and it is willing to carry out international cooperation and exchanges with all countries and regions in the world, committed to peaceful use of outer space. I believe that history will prove that the achievements of China's manned space flight are not only from China, but also for all over the world, including the vast number of American countries, which not only benefit the people of China, but also be a boon to all mankind. China, which has been committed to promoting a community with a shared future for mankind. We open the door to the space station and welcome friends to visit. Thank you.
Now we will host a dialogue session between the Chinese astronauts and the African teenagers. And now we connect with the China-Africa branch. We begin with Central Africa. Central Africa, can you hear me? Hello, Central Africa. Okay, Central Africa, can you hear me? Okay. You may ask your questions.
En Afrique, beaucoup de personnes se rappellent comme et la Chine aussi est un pays connu de référence en matière d'agriculture.
We are deeply attached to the land. So my question is that in the Tiangong space station, will China's taikonaut grow vegetables there? Thank you. Okay, thank you for your question. When we're on duty in the station, in the space, we are no longer standing on the ground. So we love our land very much. We would grow vegetable in the space station. We bring some seeds up there, including lettuce, wheat, Arabic dot pieces, and every day we water them, fertilize them, and when we see those seeds sprout, we would be very excited. These young lives became the fourth member in our crew. So we cherish them. And when we see green leaves grow out of them, we are very happy because they add a touch of life to the space station. And when they grow bigger, we can have fresh vegetables for meals. They're very delicious. We're very happy. Thank you.
From space. Okay, so next we will connect with the Comoros. Comoros, are you ready? Hi, Comoros.
Oui, bonjour.
You may ask your questions, please.
Bonjour tout le monde. Bonjour.
Hello. My question is, when I see reports, I see Chinese taikonauts would say, feeling good. I feel Chinese taikonauts are very confident. So I want to ask, what does it feel to have this feeling of feeling good? When you say, I'm feeling good,
how does it feel to feel good? How does it actually feel, Mr. Cheng Dong?
If you ask me now, I would say feeling good. When we are on duty in important time and important situations, the ground would ask us, are we feeling well? This shows that China prioritizes the safety and well-being of taikonauts. If we have any discomfort or if we're not ready, we won't have new tasks. With long-term and targeted training from the ground, we are fully capable of handling any mission. Even in face of emergencies, we would have plans and measures to deal with them. So when we say we're feeling good, it means at that moment, our physical condition, skills, and mental state are all in good shape, and we're ready to carry out the tasks. This kind of feedback also injects the confidence of our teammates and our ground colleagues. So when we say we're feeling good, we would hear a round of warm applause from the ground. So I hope my African friends, when you are working and when you are studying, I hope you always feel good.
So much, and I hope your questions are well answered, Comoros. Now we take a stop over to Côte d'Ivoire, and Côte d'Ivoire has some questions. Côte d'Ivoire, good afternoon. Hi, Côte d'Ivoire. Would you like to say hello?
So I'll ask my question now. My question is, for Africa, development is the most imminent issue. Only with development can African people live better lives. My question is, what kind of help can space industry bring to the development of a country? Okay. First of all, I'll say hello. This is a very good question. Space is very important for a country's development. Firstly, it is the symbol of technological innovation. Through the development of space technology, China could enhance its technological capabilities. Second, the research and application of space technology can be branched out to many different fields such as materials, electronics, and aerospace engineering. The development of this space industry can promote the growth of other fields. Not only this brings many opportunities for a country's economy, it also brings support for the development of high-tech industries. And the space industry provides a vast platform for scientific research. For example, for China's manned space planning, it includes the building of a national space laboratory and the launch of space telescopes for celestial observation. These projects offer scientists an opportunity to conduct experiments. Later, when these scientific results are applied, the people will enjoy the concrete results. So I think space industry is very important and closely related to a country's development. Thank you.
Now we take another stop to the Democratic Republic of the Congo. Congo, are you there? Good afternoon, DRC. Are you there? Okay, can you wave and say hello? Okay, the floor is yours. You may ask your questions.
Bonjour à tous. Je me nomme au nom de...
Hello. I am from the University of Kinshasa. I'm from the School of Science. So my question is, what does it look like for you to see Earth from the space? Can you see the Congo River from the Tingong space station? Hello, everyone. I'm very often asked of this question, and I can tell you the Earth that we see from the space. We're orbiting around the Earth at the height of 400 kilometers, which is actually not very far from the ground. So we cannot see the entire spherical shape of the Earth. However, we can see the beautiful curve of the Earth against the backdrop of space. During the day, we can see white clouds, oceans, mountains, rivers, and even large cities. In the evening, we can see the boundary between day and night slowly pushing forward. It feels like we are racing with time. Very soon, the Earth is completely dark, and then you can see the city lights shining at night. During night, we love to see the lightning. The lightning is completely different from what we see on the ground, because what we see lightning are blobs of lights. So it feels like the Earth is saying hello to us. Just now, you mentioned the Congo River. I know it is the second largest river in Africa. We actually can see it from the space. But I only saw it from the space. And I very much hope that I will have the opportunity to admire the beauty of Congo River by going to Africa.
Maybe perhaps one day you can invite Mr. Cheng Dong to actually see the river on Earth. Okay, right, now we take another stop and we move over to Egypt. Egypt, are you there? Hello, Egypt. Okay, Egypt, if you can hear us, can you wave and say hello? Okay, you.
Hello, good afternoon. يقال أنه يمكن رؤية الشروق والغروب 16 مرة في الفضاء كل يوم. أود أن أسأل، هل الوقت في الفضاء نفس الوقت على الأرض؟ أهناك فرق في الوقت بينهما؟ It is said that in space it is possible to see the sunrise and sunset 16 times every day. May I ask, is time in space and on Earth the same? Isn't there any time difference between both? Thank you.
Very interesting question, Mr. Cheng Dong. The time difference.
Indeed, this is a question that everybody is interested in. The space station orbits the Earth once every 90 minutes, which means for 24 hours we orbit the Earth 16 times, allowing us to see sunrises and sunsets 16 times. However, it does not mean that every day we spend in space equals 16 days on Earth. If that means if I stay half a year in space, I would be 8 years older. But that is not true. In the space, we still follow Beijing time for our daily routines. We wake up at 6:30 and after a day of work, we go to bed at 10:30. So you can see I did not age 8 years during my stay in space. I'm still young. And we work with artificial lighting, so we weren't affected by the rapid changes between the day and night outside the station, and we follow Beijing time. So there is no time difference. Rest assured. Thank you.
That's very interesting insights there. Thank you, Mr. Cheng Dong. And I'd like to say at this moment that the stories of Chinese astronauts have given a lot of encouragement and inspiration to the African teenagers. And we have Nchama from Equatorial Guinea who drew a painting to express his feelings for the Chinese astronauts represented by Mr. Cheng Dong. Mr. Qingdong, would you like to come to the center? So this is a painting for you that was done by that was done by a painter. His name is Nchama. Would like to say something?
Thank you, Chama, for your painting. I see many Chinese elements there. There's the national flag, the Great Wall, the terracotta warriors, and the rockets. You've put a lot of thought into this, and especially you painted me to look much better. So thank you again for making me look better. I love it very much.
Right, next we move and we take another stop over to Equatorial Guinea. Equatorial Guinea, are you there? Okay, you may ask your questions.
Estimado señor Chen, me llamo Salvador Ndong y en ese concurso he hecho un retrato suyo. Entonces quería aprovechar esta oportunidad para poder regalar.
我想，在航天员在空间站一定非常忙碌。So I would like to send this portrait to you, and sincere, I would like to extend best wishes to you.
Thank you, Njama.
Saludos. Seguramente están muy ocupados en la estación espacial actual. Me gustaría saber cuál ha sido la misión más.
I think taikonauts must be very busy on the space station and have many tasks to complete. What was your most memorable mission during your space travel?
Your most memorable time during the space mission?
刚才看到了。
I would like to thank the author of the portrait. Actually, in the space, we are very busy, and we have much work to do every day. Actually, we drive the spaceship as a driver, maintain the spaceship as a repairman, check the spaceship body as a doctor. And I have mentioned growing vegetables as a farmer. And we will conduct experiments as an engineer. With these tasks, I have a great knowledge about sericulture, extravehicular activities, joining forces in space. Those all impressed me most. And what impressed me most is delivering a lecture in the space, because I used to serve as a teacher to share my experience with more kids. I hope that there will be more people, especially youth, who can appreciate the wonder of the universe and the mystery of the space. Children are the future of the earth. You should keep this curiosity and desire to explore, solve more puzzles, build our global village better, and make our planet even more beautiful. Thank you.
Build our global planet better. Okay, right, and we move over to the next. Our next stop is in Kenya. Kenya, are you there? Good afternoon.
Hello.
You may ask your questions.
Hello. I'm a female student from Kenya, and more stories of women going to space inspires me to be like one of them. in future, will I have the opportunity to train in China as an astronaut? Thank you.
I think you have a great dream. Any field or industry without the participation of female is incomplete. We have women from many countries in the world entering into the space, and they have all accomplished their tasks well. Therefore, it is great that you have such a dream. I'd like to praise you. At present, the China Space Station has been fully completed and has entered into the phase of application and development. We have a complete manned space station near the Earth and a round-trip transportation system between heaven and Earth, and we have mature taikonaut selection, training, and support system. Therefore, we can see we are equipped with the conditions for training foreign taikonauts. At present, relevant work is being actively prepared. I really look forward to welcoming you to China for the taikonaut training in China and in the future. We are waiting for you here in China. Thank you.
Inspires me as a woman. Okay, right. Now we move over to Zimbabwe. Zimbabwe, good afternoon. Good afternoon, Zimbabwe.
No. Yes, I can hear you. Good afternoon.
Hi.
Yes, I can hear you. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. You may ask your questions.
All right. So I've heard that Chinese astronauts spend half a year in the Tiangong space station every time they go on a business trip to space. So do you miss your family while traveling to space? Have you missed some of your children's birthdays? And what will you make up for your child's birthday when you get back to Earth? Thank you.
Mr. Chindong?
Thank you for your care. For the half-year travel, I will definitely miss my family members. When you are away from your family, you will miss them very much. Actually, it is said that I will miss my family even more at night. Therefore, I will look at the earth before going to bed every day, because that's where my motherland, my friends, and my family members are. With the continuous progress of space technology, now I can easily talk to my family members by phone and also have video calls with them regularly so as to relieve my miss for them, thanks to the technology. During the half year in the space, I didn't miss my child's birthday, and when I came back on their birthdays, I told them about my interesting experience in space and shared with them the videos I took. They are very excited and curious. They kept laughing looking at these videos. I have no idea what they are laughing at, and they kept asking me questions. I think they like this unique gift very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Cheng Dong. In just 1 hour, you managed to share so many interesting stories with us, and I believe this hour will become more unforgettable life experience for the children watching the event today. Again, I'd like to thank the Chinese astronaut, Mr. Chen Dong, with a warm applause. May we thank him? Okay, at this point, we will have a message from the Shenzhou 16 space crew to our young African friends. Thank you.
亲爱的朋友们，
Dear friends, when we look up at the sky, we find it more wonderful because of great dreams. And when we look down at the earth, we find it a brighter place because of the solidarity of the 2.6 billion people of China and Africa. Launching Africa Youth Dream into space is just a starting point, and the prospect for China-Africa space cooperation is as broad as a starry sea. If the young generation has ideals and commitment, the country will have a promising prospect, the nation will have hope, and China-Africa friendship will have a future. On behalf of Shenzhou 16 crew members, I would like to thank our young African friends for their wonderful creations and wish you all seize the day, live up to your dream, act down to earth, and achieve lofty aspirations through hard work. Thank you for watching today's painting exhibition in space. See you. Thank you, our distinguished taikonauts. It is very short for happy time. I'd like to thank the Secretariat of Chinese Follow-up Action Committee of the Forum on China-Africa Cooperation, China Manned Space Engineering Office, Chinese Embassy Africa, and Chinese taikonaut Chen Dong for presenting us with these wonderful activities.
We're having so much fun, but we'd like to thank the African embassies in China and our African friends around for your participation and support. Let us jointly wish that China-Africa friendship will last forever and China-Africa cooperation will become more prosperous. Good night.
Yes, 那么我们今天的交流和颁奖。
That's the end of our interaction and awarding ceremony. I'm Yang Zhao from CGTN and Bridget, my colleague. Thank you for your participation. Good night.
Bye-bye.